Hello crafty friend, it's Justine. Today I'm going to be using a stencil to make one beautiful Christmas card. At least I hope it will be beautiful. I haven't made it yet. But I'm using the stencil called Christmas Florals and Sentiments. And this is part of the classic Christmas release that Spellbinders came out with this July. So I thought I'd give it a go and try my own hand at it. So we'll see how this goes. I haven't done stenciling on YouTube before, so this should be interesting. Oh wait, no, I did stenciling on YouTube for one of the past Glimmer Clubs, and that was really fun actually. That was the leaf. So I'm just going to take some craft tape and hold my paper down to start off. And if you don't know, this stencil is a 5-part stencil. So it's kind of neat. There's numbers on the bottom on the left side. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the order in which you are to stencil. So I'm just going to dive right in. I don't have a lot of oxide colors, so I'm just going to try to make this work. I mean, I suppose I have 15, 16, I have about 19 of them. Maybe that's a lot. I don't know. But I don't have every single color like some people do. Not yet anyway. All in good time. All right, well, I'm going to line up number 1 on my back of my card base. I do plan to use the coordinating die to cut this out at the end. So just to keep that in mind, I guess. I'm going to line up the corners. There's these little dots on the opposite corners. And then there is a little angled corner that shows where to put the card base. Okay, to start off, I was looking at the inspiration sheet for this card, and it is rather light with a lot of like lighter colors and some pastels. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a different take on the die and have it be a little more like the richer, deeper colors, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll see what happens when I start making it. Just a note for blending brushes, I have these blending brushes and some others, I don't even know. Some of them are from, I don't even know where they're from, I think maybe my craft store or Amazon. It really isn't that big of a deal. And then I do have some smaller ones from Spellbinders, which I find really helpful. I've used this yellow one quite a bit. And then there's one that's even smaller. Where is it? This one. Can you believe how teeny tiny that is? Look at that. I use this for glimmering, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but I use it when I have foil that needs to kind of be released in really delicate areas. So I guess I don't really have a foil plate right now that I can show on camera because I've been foiling for next month's release videos. Let's see. I suppose I can use this one. Okay, so this was one from Yana's collection that is just stunning and gorgeous. The white and gold is my favorite, and I was planning on actually stenciling this one too. But what I was going to say is I use the brush for areas like these corners that might have a little excess in them, and the firm brush really does help with that. So just a side note, I haven't used it with ink yet, but I might, because this is really tiny and it's perfect for getting in the little areas for ink blending. So I guess we'll see if I pull that one out today. But this one is rather nice as well, and it's not as small, but it's definitely way smaller than a typical blending brush. You can see kind of the comparison there. Anyway, Spellbinders does have some. I am an affiliate with Spellbinders. I absolutely love their company, but you don't have to have Spellbinders everything to craft, but some of their stuff is far superior, I will just say, including their craft tape. This Best Ever craft tape is my absolute favorite, so just saying. Alrighty, let's just actually start ink blending. For reds, I have 2 different colors. I have Worn Lipstick and Abandoned Coral. Worn Lipstick is a bit pinky. Oh, both of those are perfect. Okay, well, I might not be doing that whole like rich color thing today because I forgot that I don't have a red yet. Looks like that's on my list for my craft store, which is actually perfect because I am going to my amazing large craft store with my family. We're having like a girls' time next Friday, so I'm super excited about that. Oh boy, let me just hit the camera a whole bunch. I don't think I have any reds in here. No. Okay. Well, pink tones it is. All right. Just pivot. Alrighty. For my main poinsettia color, I suppose I will be using Abandoned Coral, which will be pretty too, I'm sure. It is so satisfying inking these up. I just love it. Alrighty. Looking at the inspiration sheet, I think I'm going to actually put everything on this first layer is going to be this color because I think it'll just work. Okay, I did a little swatch test on my hand because I don't know why I did it on my hand. I think it's my background in makeup, but I definitely think that the Abandoned Coral is for sure a darker color. So I'm going to actually go in first with the other one, Worn Lipstick, first, because the other one will have more detail. Okay. Isn't this fun doing it live on YouTube? I guess it's not live, but it's not as planned as it could be. All right, so we're gonna go in with the Worn Lipstick first. And anytime I use stencils, I like to kind of start off the stencil and work my way onto it, just to not get a whole ton of ink. But this big flower, I'd kind of like the center to be, yeah, okay, we're gonna start off and go onto it. I love using the Distress Oxide pads because they are super nice for blending, and I am so excited to use stencils more often. I've kind of been scared of them, I know, or just like nervous about it, because to me, I am so used to coloring with Copics or coloring with colored pencils that to me stencils just seem kind of foreign. And in the past I've used a stencil and had it move around, and then I just get frustrated and I just kind of quit, which is not great. So I'm trying to be a little more familiar with stencils because I feel like I can do difficult crafting things. It just takes time and practice. I know a lot of people, especially in my personal life, they see my cards on Facebook or YouTube or whatnot, and they're just like, how can you do that? I don't know. And I have card stuff and I can't ever do it like that. And it's like, well, I've made a lot of cards, and no, I am not an expert at all. I'm not perfect at it either, but if you practice, it gets better. So here I am practicing my stencils. Alrighty, so number 1 is finished, and I really do like the result of that. It looks like it's working out. Okay. Alright, I'm going to set that off to the side just so it doesn't get ink all over the place. And I should probably grab my number 2 now. Alright, number 2, make sure the corner's in the bottom. That way it will line up with my project. Pretty simple. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the darker color that I chose, which was the Abandoned Coral. And this will give a little bit of dimension to the main poinsettia, and then it looks like some dimension or some kind of lines on the other pieces. And then there's these 2 smaller poinsettias that go behind it. Yes, I say poinsettia. If that bothers you, I am so sorry, but that is how I was raised to say it, so sorry, I guess. Okay. Getting all of those inky spots. There's a ton of ink on my brush, so I think I can just make this go for the whole time now. Okay. I'm excited to pull this one off because I think this will be kind of neat to see the reveal of the lines. Ooh, I like that. See, stenciling isn't so scary. Okay. Alrighty. Number 3, moving right along. This is not taking as long as I thought either. Is that backwards? What? Oh, I just didn't have it lined up. Okay. Okay, for lining up the stencils, I kind of am just eyeballing it and looking at the corner, trying to make sure everything's lined up, but once I feel like it's kind of where I want it, I'm just going to put my tape down and we'll grab another brush. This one's pretty inky, so I'm just going to let it chill for just a little bit. Okay, green. I need greens now. Looks like I'm going to need 2. So I'm going to grab Lucky Clover and Pistachio, which are the 2 greens I have. Oh, wait, no, I do have another one. Cracked Patina. This is more of a blue. I'm just going to put that one back for now. Okay, it looks like I need the light color first on this number 3. So, I'm going to grab my pistachio brush, which basically matches this perfectly. It's kind of weird. Okay, and then I'm just going to put this everywhere, it looks like. Some spots, like right here, I have to be kind of careful because that can move over pretty easily. So those smaller brushes that I was showing at the beginning that are from Spellbinders, I think would be a great tool to use in there if you are nervous about things moving. I'm just going to try to be super careful and make it work. Now that I am finished with my cracked pistachio, I will take off this stencil and see what we're looking like. I'm not thrilled about how this turned out right here, but I'm still going to go for it because even if there is a mistake area, I could put a die over it. The coordinating die does come with 3 sentiments. We have merry and bright, peace and joy, and sending cheer. So I'm going to just take my own advice and go for it and persevere even if it doesn't turn out perfectly. It will be just fine. All right, here's number 4. And I'm just going to try to line it up with the corner again. Okay, then I'm going to use cracked or vintage photo, which I use quite a bit for different die cutting stuff. I made a whole bunch of masculine cards and things for a friend recently. I should have filmed that. I didn't, but such is life. And I really do like this color. It really is like a vintage photo look. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat meowing in the background. I selfishly got up this morning and it is 5 in the morning and did not immediately feed him. He will live, I promise. I usually he's not really interested in food right away anyway, so once I'm done filming this, I will promptly feed the king of the house, the cat. By the way, these were for the pine cones. I did the darker first. I really should have done my lighter brown first, but you live and you learn. I was a little bit distracted with my dear cat. Alrighty, now for the darker green that's going to go on the leaves of the greenery. I'm going to use Lucky Clover. And this just goes everywhere else on the stencil besides the parts that were just colored with the vintage photo brown ink. The nice thing about using Distress Oxide inks for stencil work is they are pretty washable. So when I'm done with this card, I'm going to take all my stencils to my sink and just rinse them, and the ink will come right off. And then I usually just dry them with a dishcloth or dish towel, I guess, a dish towel that isn't super fibrous and get little lint all over the place. Okay, ooh, this one is kind of a fun stencil because it's giving a lot of definition do so many different pieces here. Okay, well, I'll line it up in the corner again. I think if they did not give us those guidelines, this would turn out really interestingly, to say the least. All right, so, I'm gonna go in again with the abandoned coral on all the little red areas. Some of these are teeny tiny. I think when I do link the ink blenders in the description, I will link either from scrapbook.com or Spellbinders, just because I would much rather support a small business than Amazon. Personally, I definitely order from Amazon, but I'm not really into ordering from Amazon over ordering from a small business. I feel like there's for me, it just makes a little more sense to order from a small business, but I suppose that is the beauty of the free market, I guess. It's so weird to talk about that in here. Okay, I'm going in again with Lucky Clover, and like I said, I'm just going to wipe away some of the red that was on here just because I don't want to mess up any of my greens. And again, if I do, I'm just going to have to kind of get over it because, like I said, it's kind of the beauty of stencil work, and this is more of a kind of a whimsical card. So if it's a little dreamy looking, I suppose it's not the end of the world. I'm pretty sure I got all of the greens. Last, I'm going to put the dimension on the pine cones. And like I said before, I used my darkest brown already, so I'm going to actually use Wild Honey. And I think we'll just have to see what happens when I put that over. Perhaps it will stay nice and bright, or maybe it will make a really pretty green. Oh, not green, brown. It's definitely staying yellow, but I'm not mad about it. We're going with it. I think I actually might take this and put this in the center of the bigger poinsettia just because I kind of want it to be like this orangey color, so we're going to do that. Just kind of ever so slightly, not too much. Okie dokie. Oh, by the way, that was Wild Honey. I think I did say that, but in case I didn't, there you have it. Okay, so for this card, I used Worn Lipstick, Abandoned Coral, Lucky Clover, Cracked Pistachio, Wild Honey, and Vintage Photo. So 6 different inks. Okay, are you ready for the big reveal? Here we go. Oh man, I'm so excited. Ooh, it looks really good. At least I think so. It's like a mother always thinks that their child is adorable. Most kids are, though. Anyway. Here we have it. Oh, I really do like it. Okay. Next, I have to take it off of my paper here. So I'm just going to kind of clean up my desk a teeny bit. My ink is pretty wet here on the card, so I think I'm going to take my heat tool or heat gun and just kind of hit this a little bit with the heat just so it dries, and we can go ahead and move on and use this huge die to cut it out. Okay, I think it is dry enough to use with my platinum, so I'm just going to take my stenciled image and line up my die nicely on there, and then use some craft tape to hold it in place, and then run it through, and I'll have this beautiful and big die cut image that I stenciled. Hooray! I'm so excited to use this, and I am extra thrilled because it turned out enough for me to not be mad about it, which is probably a little bit of a perfectionist issue sometimes I have with myself, but it's not all the time. Ooh, it even cuts the 2 pieces in the middle. Okay, Wow, that's really pretty. Okay. I'm thinking that this way it looks better going up and down. So let's see, should I use green in the background? I think I'm going to use green. Pull from my paper here. I don't know if this is too green or not. I've been doing a lot of green cards recently for Christmas. I do like the way that looks. Okay, we're going to go with that. I might even emboss the background. Okay, I think I need a second to kind of think about the rest of my cards, so just hang on a second. I think I'm going to use one of the sentiments that comes in with the coordinating die. So let's see, all three are great. I think Sending Cheer is kind of what inspires me about this card, so I'm going to use Sending Cheer. Let's grab some red paper, a scrap bin, and we'll see. Too red. Almost need like a pinky red because of the ink colors that I used. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Okay. It's definitely pink. I'm not sure what paper this is. I have a feeling that it might be, I think it might be the Velvet Rose from Spellbinders. I know that there are certain colors of ink, distress ink and oxides that work well with the Spellbinders papers. They're all coordinated, so I'm not sure if this is one of them or not. It was in my scraps, so at that point, who really knows? I'm just going to line it up carefully. I like to put my finger down like this and then put tape on the other sides and go from there. Then it won't move around. And by the way, this is my little sidekick. I love using it on my desk for little things like this, for die cutting, because it really just saves my platinum from getting it worn out, and it's a tiny die, so I don't need to use my big machine, and I can use it right on my desk. So I don't know if this is patented or not, but if Spellbinders ever came out with one, I'd be using it guaranteed, because this little sucker gets a lot of use. Just saying. You can see my cutting plates are just beat up, and I think this is probably my 4th set of these, and I think I've had that for about a year. So yeah, I do a lot of card making though, so maybe it's just me who's wearing it out. Okay. And I'm not sure why I put it away so quickly, because I need it to finish this card. So the background of this kind of gets, so the letters on this kind of get punched out, but not perfectly, if you will. You can see here, you can see through some of them. What I like to do is punch them all out if they were not with the die cutting machine, because I like to put a shiny paper behind it. So I'm going to use that pokey part of my tool-in-one and just basically push out any of the paper. And it already is cut from the die, but this just helps it out a little. Especially for the small areas like that H and these E's, it just helps. I'm going to use a scrap of gold. I think that'll be long enough. And when I do this, I just take out the letters and die cut out the frame. Luckily, this die set came with the frames to go around the words, which is super helpful, and it makes it easy to have straight pieces. Now, looks like my scrap's just a teeny bit short, but I'm still going to use it because the letters don't go all the way to the edges on the right and left, so we're just going to make it work and go from there. Next, I'm going to just grab my liquid glue. I use my Barely Art liquid glue for anything like this, and I just keep it in this little glue bottle since it's super easy to hold and handle. And then I like to use my best ever craft tape ring, the tape part, to hold it, because then it stays faced down and there's way less clogs if the glue is going down. I did purchase a glue holder from Etsy, and I do find that it fits the art glitter glue bottle way better than the Barely Art. I think it's just a little too tall for my Barely Art glue bottle, and then for my little one it's too short. So that sounds backwards, but it just has to do with the distance from the tabletop to the neck of the bottle. So I hope that makes sense. But anyway, okay, so to put on my big die that I cut out, I'm going to again use my liquid glue. You could use tape runner for this too, but I think that this just kind of works for me. And all I have to do is center it on to my card panel like this. This really does fill up an A2 size card, so that's fabulous. I am going to put the sending cheer over where I kind of fudged a little bit with the stencil. Draw attention to it, I guess, but I think it is doing its job, covering it up. I'll just hold it there. That gold mirror cardstock is a bit slippery with the liquid glue, so I do like to hold it just a little bit longer than normal. And I love that I can see the gold through the letters. Oh, that is so pretty. Okie dokie, time for some embellishments. I know, I just said okie dokie like a dork, but that's just me. Okay, I think I'm going to use the taupe, the fashion taupe. These are self-adhesive embellishments from Spellbinders. They came out, I think, last November or December, and I'm still using them and loving them. I've been grabbing for self-adhesive embellishments probably 9 times out of 10 over other gems because it's just so easy to put these on cards. Look at that. You just pop them right on and they stay. Don't have to wait for glue to dry. It's like a little sticker. Okay, I think 5 is enough for what I'm looking for. So I think I just finished my card. I'm not going to put it on a card base on here. This video has been rather long already, so just assume that I'm going to be putting this on a card base. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. I will link everything that I used in the description as best as I can, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. So have a great rest of your day, and I hope you get to craft soon. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye!